Well, I feel like these kind of like endless battles with armies of creatures. They're really boring. I mean,
yeah, they drag on.
They do a little bit.
Like here, pretty much the third act of the Desolation of Smaug is, spoiler alert, them trying to get in the Lonely Mountain and then get out. Because Smaug is there.
Yeah.
And he's pretty damn awesome.
I was going to say, was he an awesome dragon?
They do really good with him. But
although I did think when he got covered in gold, he kind of looked like a Christmas ornament.
Yes.
I
put it on my
Christmas ornament.
I went to Cinetopia to see mine. I don't know where you guys went and saw yours.
Pioneer Place.
Okay.
In 3D with 48 FPS.
Tell us about that. Oh my
gosh. The higher frame rate, right?
Yeah, it's the higher frame rate. Mostly, but most films are 24 frames per second.
Right.
But this one, it doubles it. It's 48.
So
it moves kind of smoother. It sort of looks like a cutscene from a video game. But it does look good. It makes the special effects really stand out. So Smaug looks amazing.
I will say
48 frames per second.
The world looked amazing and Smaug looked amazing. The issues I had were with some of the more clearer aspects with Smaug, and the gold scene in particular. It almost looked more fake, which was the issue that I've heard. But I will say these worlds keep getting just more and more beautiful as time goes on. I know we've all seen the scene where he pokes his head out of where Bilbo pokes his head out of the trees and the butterflies fly away, but I gotta say that was just a really pretty scene.
Even
the woods, which were gross and scary, and the spiders. Ugh.
This is not a movie for people who are arachnophobic.
Yeah.
My friend's afraid of spiders, but he hates eating fish, so I was like, man, this is your worst movie ever. I'm like that'd be like your worst day incarnate.
But what I was saying with the whole third act being them versus Smaug versus they're trying to run away from the guy. It's when you're watching it, it's engaging, and you're entertained by it, and you're interested to see Bilbo's talking to Smaug, and then he's running away from Smaug, and then the dwarves get involved, and that's entertaining. That'll keep you engaged. But whenever they cut away to, and then Gandalf's over here doing this thing, and then the other dwarves are doing that thing, and the elves are doing whatever they're doing, then you start noticing how long this is going.
Yes, it's become too much, and it's just sometimes adding those extra. We're gonna add 3 storylines. My friends told me that a lot of these storylines are within the Tolkien world and the history and the lore, and they all lead up to The Lord of the Rings. So they're relevant, but at the same time, you add in 3 storylines, you have to finish them. You can't just be like, and we're done, And that adds extra time, exactly.
And it kind of it's very disorienting to come back to Gandalf after he's been off screen for a really long time, and it's like, okay, what? I mean, it kind of breaks up the flow in the dream.
He's just not doing as much.
Yeah.
He's just walking around looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, can I say when I grow up I want to be Gandalf?
I think we all do.
I'd rather be Magneto personally, but
I just want to be Patrick Stewart.
You get to be friends with Sir Ian McKellen. That's pretty good too.
And that's the other thing. I was during the credits. Ian McKellen gets top billing, but he's in 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I don't know. Well, I guess the same question could be said. What's up with all the stairs? How come people can't walk up normal stairs in this world? I don't know. The stairs are going to be at least this tall.
Well, that was a motif.
They're just like dwarves.
There are all these stone stairs set into mountains, which was kind of bizarre and something I actually really liked. It was kind of. It was striking. It was
I love the worlds I saw, and that's what I really liked. I was like, wow, I really love how pretty the world is, and I feel like the more time Peter Jackson spends there, and he does what he needs to do, and it gets better and better. And also, Andy Serkis was the second unit director on this, and
right.
He used it. He goes, well, you were Gollum. You know what you're doing here. You spent enough time on set, and I think he's done a really great job just doing all those extra things, and it's really nice. And I mean, I felt the most interesting people in there were the dwarves, and I felt like every time we left them, I was like, oh, okay.
Can you name all the dwarves?
Balin, Dwalin. It's easy. They all run. Feely, Keely. Oh, what's the main guy's name? Richard Armitage. Thorin. There we go. That's about it. I know. I really like.
Oin, Gloin, Doin. There's lots of points.
Offer, bomber, happy, sleepy, dopey, I don't know.
Rocket racer, rebel.
I will say, did anybody catch the part where the bald dwarf was just punching the spider in the face?
No.
He's like, everyone's like stabbing him, and he's just sitting there. He's literally just punching the spider in the face, and I was like,
taking care of business.
He's like, I know, I'll just break through the wall. He's like the Hulk of the dwarves.
That spider scene, like, was anyone else bothered by that whole bit with Bilbo like stabbing that one white spider to get the ring?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't.
I think you're supposed to be.
And like, but the interesting thing is like they never really reflected on that. Like it would have been interesting to see like him like troubled by that afterwards.
Yeah, we get that. It's like a minute long, but
seems like they could have fit more in.
I think we already know what this is. He's starting to get obsessed with the ring, and that's the reflection of that.
I feel like it's
he's
that
killing what I assume was like a spider larva.
Yeah, it's like a pale albino crab thing.
Yeah.
So trapdoor spiders, plus the ones that lived in the trees.
I think, I don't know, in the book when you're reading it, you're like, oh, he has this ring, it turns him invisible. They don't really go into the mental aspect of, although I would like to say I did like the comparison of how Bilbo feels about the ring is how Thorin feels about the Arkenstone, which is about how the dragon, how Smaug feels about all the gold. And I was like, oh, that is, and I think you get the point where the dragon says, my precious gold or whatever, but he says it and it rings
the magic
through.
Word.
Yeah, and it's he's just planting that idea in your brain, like, remember those 3 movies I did a few years ago?
See,
it's happening.
I think they could illustrate that theme even more clearly because I think it does get lost a bit in like kind of the cavalcade of action and special effects and minor characters who aren't really that important. And I feel like that's an exciting theme, like kind of like, and then dovetailing with the idea of they awaken the dragon in this quest to get the mountain to get power, and then it's gonna cost them in the next movie.
That's got some consequences.
Yeah.
When you wake up a giant dragon.
Right, and it's like I think there's some like moral ambiguity in there about like the cost of violence that could really like if they pushed it could it could I think it would like draw people into the story more, make them care more.
Yeah, I could see that too. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was just because when I first heard the Hobbit was read to me when I was a child by one of our teachers, and I don't know. I felt like there was that point where none of this all made sense. Like, oh, he found a ring; it turns him invisible. That's cool. And then later, I watched The Lord of the Rings, and because I've never read those books, and I'm like, oh, something that was so simple and so just kind of a toss away. It almost felt like in the book when you read it, you're like, oh, there's a gold ring, got it from Gollum, turns him invisible. It's nothing. Oh wait, no, it turns out it's everything. I almost like that. Whoa, who knew something as small as a ring could cause all this destruction in this world? It could cause these series of chain of events that creates just essentially a world war of good and evil, and that kind of almost surprise. So I think drawing more attention to the ring and my precious and that I don't know, that kind of thought, it almost ruins what I remember from my childhood of that surprise of, wow, this isn't just something, this is everything.
Which makes you think that maybe they should have made The Hobbit first.
Maybe, and who would have, I guess, I don't know. I thought The Hobbit was so good on its own.
The Hobbit's it's deliberately a simpler story.
Yeah.
It's not like the world is ending. This
is
good versus evil. It's like, let's take back the mountain.
Yeah.
It's just these the 12 dwarves plus Bilbo plus sometimes Gandalf, just going around doing stuff, exploring the world, trying to get the mountain back. There's a dragon, stuff happens.
There's a town, he attacks it, and that's exactly what I was saying. Is it's just it's something so simple, and I don't know. I liked it. My friends are always like, oh well, he had this plan. He wrote The Hobbit, and he had the plan for the Lord of the Rings. I'm like, well, or the trilogy. I'm like, well, yeah, good. I'm like, I don't think so. I think maybe he took that and said, what if this means more? And then did it, and either way, it still works. And you don't need to draw that attention. We all know what's going to happen a few years down the line when Bilbo is senile and crazy,
Right.
I mean, I'd be more interested to see how Bilbo changes from, don't touch me, I'm not leaving my house, to I want to see the world, I want to go out there for more adventure. I'd rather see that phase as opposed to his spiral into obsessive madness.